Hi friends, I am Dr. B.V. Rao of Usha Clinic and founder of the websites qmedicaldoubts.blogspot.in and drraghavamedicaldoubts.in. Through these videos, I am providing the basic knowledge about the commonly occurring diseases, treatments and surgery details when necessary for the medical knowledge to general people and for reference to medicals. Today I am going to discuss about the infections of bones. The causes of infections of the bones may be trauma, infection or lowered general resistance. Trauma. Before the closure of the epiphysis, the weakest part of the long bones is the diaphyseal side of the epiphyseal bone. At this level, that is metaphysis, the loop of the blood vessels penetrate the epiphyseal cartilage and any strain imposed on the bone may rupture on one or more capillary loops with the formation of hematoma. Infective focus. The conditions like scratches, impetigo, tonsillitis allows organisms to enter the bloodstream. The hematoma in the situation is a good culture medium for bacteria. These patients are more ill than those with bacteremia. Lowered general resistance. Overcrowding, malnutrition and recently so many diseases causing the lack of resistance against the disease which cause the infection to be caused and flared. Pathology. Usual organisms are the Staphylococcus aureus, Streptococcus, Staphylococcus aureus and Pneumococcus. Starts as a small abscess on the metaphyseal side of the epiphyseal line, thus immediately extends to the surface of the bone to appear under the periosteum. The vessels in the underlying bony canals become compressed by exudate. Circulation is impaired, results in necrosis of bone. Death of the bone is caused by the presence of toxin in the pulse. Clinical features. Onset is abrupt. Pain severe at the end of the bone. Pain aggravated by the movement. Shivering or rigors may occur. In septicemia, there may be coma due to toxemia. There is a rise of temperature up to 7 degree Fahrenheit. In case of subcutaneous bone, there is redness, edema and tenderness are present. A painful brawny area appears which gradually softens and finally the abscess buds through the skin and the sinus leading to the bone. Leukocytosis and the culture of the blood may be of value in diagnosis. Complications, general complications. Toxemia, pyemia, infected emboli are carried to the lungs, etc. Septicemia shown by shivering, rigors, etc. Late complications. Chronic osteomyelitis and amyloid disease. Local joint may complicate acute osteomyelitis where the epiphyseal line is intra-articular. Spontaneous fracture, deformity, Brodie's abscess. It is a chronic bone abscess causing intermittent pain near the end of the long bone with effusion into the adjacent joint. Examination may reveal thickening of the bone and radiograph is diagnostic. Treatment. Penicillin or tetracycline after taking a specimen for bacteriological examination. After receiving the results, the sensitive antibiotic is given for 3 weeks. It is important to immobilize the limb in a splint, which permits access for testing of tenderness surgery indicated to evacuate the subperiosteal abscess or to be decompress the metaphyseal region by one or two drill holes on the metaphyseal side of the epiphyseal line. If a subperiosteal abscess is present, immediately surgery is indicated to prevent necrosis of the bone. Acute traumatic osteomyelitis. This condition arises as a result of infected wounds as compared to fractures, operations on bones, etc. The constitutional disturbance are less severe than in case of infection osteomyelitis, as the causative wound provides some measures of drainage. Treatment. More extensive opening of the wound, removal of the dead bone, or even amputation may be necessary. Chronic pyogenic osteomyelitis. If acute osteomyelitis is not treated or treated inadequately, passing to the chronic osteomyelitis. Chronic osteomyelitis may remain quiescent for months or years with exacerbation in between. Brodie's abscess. It's a form of, it is a type of chronic osteomyelitis. An X-ray sometimes reveals sequestrum which is separated from the surface of the bone or lies in a cavity. Treatment. The treatment consists of immobilization and antibiotics. If an X-ray shows the presence of sequestrum or cavitation, surgery is indicated if sinus is present. A sequestrum may be detected with a probe which grades on the loose fragment of dead bone. Penicillin is administered some day prior to the operation, and the access to the bone is gained through the previous scar. The soft tissue is stripped from the bone with a respiratory and involucrum is removed as necessary in order to gain access to the sequestrum. If cavity is present, the overhanging walls are removed with a osteotome until it is efficiently cauterized. The wound is dusted with penicillin powder and the wound is closed. If only cavity is present without sequestrum may leave a small sinus with a little oozing. Amputation is advised if there is possibility of amyloid disease due to copious discharge of pus persisting for years. Syphilitic disease. With the advance in the medical field, it became rare, may be congenital through rare presence as osteochondritis of the nasal septum is the first manifestation. Necrosis of the cartilage occurs at the age of about 4 weeks, and the resulting discharge causes shuffles, characteristic depression of the bridge of the nose follows destruction of its support. Craniotap of the vault of the skull occurs during the first 6 months as a result of absorption of bone. It also may be due to simultaneous presence of rickets. Parrot's nose may appear on the skull during early years. There are patches of periosteitis. If parietal and frontal bones are involved, there are 4 bosses and the term hot cross bud is applied. Epiphysitis. It is usually occurs by the end of the first year, the epiphyseal line being broader than the usual and yellowish in color. Separation may occur resulting in so-called pseudoparosis. Periosteitis extends from the epiphysis along the shaft and forms a fusiform swelling. Overgrowth and curvature of the tibia usually appear towards the puberty. The curve is only in the anteroposterior plane and affects whole bone. Hutchinson's teeth. Hutchinson's notched and peg-shaped teeth affect the permanent incisors and moon turret teeth, so called from the absence of the central cusp, may occur in permanent molars. Acquired. Secondary stage bone pains are due to the localized patches of perosteoitis. Permanent perosteal nodes may persist. Tertiary. Perosteal gamma. Single gamma arising in the perosteum occurs in tibia, clavicle and manubrium, etc. A firm, slightly tender swelling appears which is obviously connected with the underlying bone. As the swelling enlarges, the superficial structures are progressively involved and the skin becomes red over the indurated tissues. Eventually, the skin becomes softened and sinuses are formed, which allow the escape of necrotic material. A punched out subcutaneous ulcer results, the floor of which is temporarily covered by a washed leather slab. Secondary infection is probable, and the necrosis of the bone then follows. The nasal septum and hard palate are affected, and extensive necrosis of the bone occurs from secondary infection. Multiple perosteal gamma occur on the skull. The condition is very rare. Endosteal gamma. It is rare, but when it occurs, errors at diagnosis are common and may lead to lose the limb with the diagnosis of osteosarcoma. The chief symptom of syphilitic osteomyelitis is an aching pain in the bone, boring in character when the limb is dependent, or at night when covered by a warm bedclothes. Palpation reveals the thickening of the bone due to association perosteoitis. X-ray shows marked sclerosis and the formation of a new perosteal bone. Biopsy may confirm the diagnosis. Treatment. Guttering the bone is sometimes necessary so as to open the medulla and allow an adequate blood supply to the interior of the bone. Diffuse sclerosis. This consists of the thickening of all or any of the perosteal, cancellous or medullary elements of the bone. The skull and long bones are affected, and in long-standing cases the medullary cavity is obliterated. That's all about the infections of the bones, and in the next video we will discuss about some other diseases. Thank you.